It's your man Calvin Ruffin II, aka Rasul Muhammad, creator of LDTV. I just want to touch base real quick and say that LDTV is a YouTube channel, but not for economic purposes. We're not trying to establish a channel to make money. LDTV is actually maintained by something much higher than that. So I want to make that clear as people learn more about us. If you end up getting some kind of invitation from LDTV for a 60-minute piece to do on you, that's us appreciating you, acknowledging what you've done in your particular craft, and wanting to give you a 60-minute documentary piece from us to you as your flowers. And with that said, let me get some sound, speed, and action.
On the Boo Jones show, you know it's a Go-Go Roundtable, but today we're going to talk about something that people shun. People they want to sweep under the rug. We're going to talk about the importance of some of the surrounding areas. In particular, we're going to talk about the Alexandria, Virginia area, my hometown. We're going to talk about why in the hell is the first band that ever came out of Alexandria, Virginia, the first band from Virginia, period, who contributed so much to the genre of go-go in the DMV. Why isn't they not in the Go-Go Hall of Fame? Why have they not even mentioned? And you know who we're talking about? Because you seen one of my first Boo Jones show, I had the the Alexandria version of the Godfather of Go-Go, Elwood Jones, and we talked about it briefly, but today we get ready to get real wriggly raw, like Stinky Ding used to say. So we got a guest here that's gonna help dive into it because he was right there and he can vouch for it. And look at here, he gonna tell his story, and he not even from Alexandria, but he's gonna give you the family inside scoop, and we're going to talk about why is an Ovation in the Go-Go Hall of Fame. So our guest for today is Janio Thompson. Come on, Janio. Let's start this thing out.
How y'all doing, gentlemen? It's a good pleasure to be here with you and Calvin Boo. That's an interesting subject we're about to cover, but it's a shameful subject for me because Ovation was an intricate part of Go-Go too. And the reason being, I suppose, because they were in Alexandria, they headlined tickets. They played with headliners. They played with Trouble. They played with Chuck. They played at the Club LeBurn. They have history in this Go-Go. They weren't a small tier band. They were a big tier band. And as a matter of fact, they were Alexandria's version of Essence. So they had a great big following. And as a matter of fact, their following would come across the district area when it was unpopular for anybody to cross anybody's district to see their band and support their band. So I just want to know myself why they aren't in the Hall of Fame. We had a get together one day and it was just me, the one Mike Fluky, the drummer Tills, Mr. Wiggles, the Congo player, who a lot of Congo players know, and Bill. Bill used to play the trombone, but now he plays the guitar. And we had a get together, and y'all, excuse me, we had a get together, and Elwood whispered to me that, did you know we're not even in the Hall of Fame? And I said, you got to be kidding me, man.
So
All
before
this,
we go any further,
right,
I talk to people and they hear the band that I named, but like I said before, I wasn't on the record, but I did
right,
name the band Shady Groove.
right,
And Shady Groove got to me, one of the top 10 go-go records of all time. At least
right,
in the top 10.
right,
If they not 10, they in.
right.
You know, but I found out, and you let me know that, Janio, that they not in either.
You know, I don't understand who does the putting in of bands, but we got to cover these bands from area to area. Everybody has an input on go-go, and especially those, because those were two iconic bands in Virginia. Ovation being the forefront, the father of the go-go, Shady Groove being who they were, a spinoff, as well as one of the ones that I know that made a record, and that record is all over the place. I like to say hello. Is that correct? Man,
Yes, and one of the call and response that's on that record is a go-go staple now. All the bands from Rare Essence, from any other well-known band uses that phrase in their shows a lot. And it's called "Hey everybody, how you feel tonight? Feel
wow.
like that body." That came off the record.
Wow. And I can remember Elwood saying something similar to that too. Then it's not
Elwood is the one who did it.
see, that's what I'm saying, man. It all comes back to you, man. You know, I was sitting there listening to some of the. First of all, when I turned on, I YouTube this up. Those were mostly originals, boo.
Yeah.
They were mostly originals, man. So it's
and shared about that when me and Elwood did the set down over a year ago.
yeah,
We talked about that. Have Essence have originals that we could all, start singing along with them. In
yeah.
Alexandria, Ovation had the same effect.
Come on, man.
They did so many originals that when they start playing the music or saying little things, we could chant in with them.
I got one for you. We were playing at the Howard Theater with the schoolboys one time.
Stop. Let me stop you, because the people don't know this. Janio played with Ovation. You never mentioned that. So me as the host, I gotta be on my job because we talking to the people.
I got it.
He played with, and Janio, and you're not from Alexandria originally.
No, I'm not.
But you're from Alexandria.
I adopted the L.A. Little L.A. It's my hometown, man.
And I'm gonna tell you why. I know. Hey, look, this is for all you listeners. When he just said "Little L.A." Only the people from Alexandria know that.
I know. Believe me, man. That was my escape, man. I had so much fun down there. I lived right across the street out on the Maryland side. If I jumped over across the street, I was on the south side near Barnaby Street, but I would catch the bus down to Alexandria. But I'm gonna tell you what happened at the Howard Theater that night. We were there with the schoolboys, and they were laughing at our bus and everything like that. I vividly remember this. And I was talking to the guys. I was like, man, we're going to tear this joint down tonight. And I swear with everything, on everything, we did. And just a couple of minutes, we hung around because we were carrying our stuff out the back way. You had to go out the back way of the Howard to get your equipment out. I heard Lawrence hit "Holler at Me." And Funk said, we don't do that there. So in other words, we had a lot of original songs that a lot of people had heard, but I just don't understand why
So
we did.
you
Yeah,
mentioned the bus. I gotta. When you start mentioning things, man, me and you've
yeah,
been rapping for a minute now, so
right.
we got to latch on to it. You mentioned the bus.
Yeah,
Tell the viewers what kind of bus that was, because people
that
think
was
you might have a nice.
the old beat up Partridge Family looking bus band, and all the band we got on there, and we would go traveling to our venues on that bus.
What color
Which
was?
the bus, as far as I remember, Boo, I think it was blue and all kinds of beat up colors, man. I can't remember all of the colors,
But the
you know.
very first bus said
Hmm.
that was yellow, like a
Yeah.
regular school bus. But
Okay.
they had a groove. Ovation had a groove, y'all. That they talked about. They said, if you see that yellow bus, you know that fuss was us.
You know, it wasn't like we didn't play with. They played with everybody. Chance, Pepworth. We played with everybody, so it's not like we should have been unknown. And I don't know how you go unknown as a big band, but I guess maybe it wasn't popular to put.
The originator of Captain Ruffin II always talks about, and he's from Sea Pleasant, Maryland, and so Air Raid is their essence, and so he said the very first go-go he ever seen was Air Raid and Ovation. At a
Well,
very young age, 14, I think he said it was, at Air Raid and Essence. And it's funny that now it's coming full circle. You got a original Virginia Alexandria guy. See, when they say Virginia, Virginia's a state. We always like to say we from Alexandria. It's a difference.
yeah, yep. And as a matter of fact, Air Raid made their mark, and Ovation made their mark. Nobody really thought that a band could come out Maryland and tear it up, but Air Raid did. Nobody would think that a band could come out Virginia and tear it up, but they did. A lot of people got surprised by Ovation when they played with us because we weren't biting off of everybody else's grooves. We had our own. And people were dancing to them. And people after the show was like, man, where you say y'all was from? Alexandria. You know? So this being the topic of us not being in the Hall of Fame, I don't know how they make that mistake. I really don't. And when I first heard it, it really disheartened me because there were bones that were laid down there. And we played at some of the most popular spots you could ever play in Go-Go. Moonlight Inn, Howard Theater, all kinds of rec centers, Club the Burns they played in, Palmer Park. How do you not have them inside of the Hall of Fame? I don't know.
You said something about
Everywhere.
the Uptown
Yeah,
show.
everywhere.
About that, what you told us about the Uptown show. Outside, right? Was it Northwest Gardens or something?
I'm trying to think. I played with them. My very first big show was at the Howard, but I do know that they did play places like Uptown. I can't recall it right now, Boo. I really can't. I really can't.
I know they played at Bladensburg High School and stuff
They
like
did.
that.
They did. They did. They played at all the venues because Chuck and Trouble was helping them. Chuck, they would put them on the headliners. As a matter of fact, people would they had a sound that was similar to a little bit of Trouble, but we had a rapper on that mic, man, that could get it. So I don't understand. And a lot of people in this industry know of Pluky. They know of Wiggles. They know of Elwood. How is it that they don't get in the band? Hall of Fame. I'm sorry, the Hall of Fame. How? They don't know very much of me because I came after the scene. It was me, Olin, and Kevin. We came after the fact.
Tell them who those guys. Tell them as you tell them who you are, and tell a little bit who you are, and tell about those two guys you just mentioned and where they from.
Okay. Well, here's the deal. I used to lift equipment for Ovation because I knew that they were Alexandria's #1 band, so I had to get in there some way, somehow. I wanted a part of that. So I would lift the equipment, set up the congos, do this, that, the third. I also could sing, and Elwood heard me sing one day, so he had me singing. At that time in Go-Go's, we did slow songs. So he got me in there. Pluky had left the band, I believe. So he was looking for, and Rick, I think Rick was gone too. I'm not absolutely sure, but Rick was like in and out, so he needed a one mic. And me and Olin, known as Strolling Olin, would always hang out. So I let Olin know. Elwood got in touch with Olin, grabbed Olin up. Tills, I believe he had left the band, so we needed a drummer. So Olin got in touch with Kevin, who used to drum for Reds and the Boys, and that's how all three of us got in there. We used to practice at Patrick Henry, and one day Wiggles didn't show up, and Tills was on the drums at that time, and I filled in, and they told me, well, this is where we're going to keep you at. And that's how I got in the band. I played congos. Yes, I did. And that was the experience of my lifetime, man. I never, ever enjoyed a band such as I did Ovation, because we were a family unit together, man. We were tight. And the thing is a lot of people had the tendency to call people Bammers just because of where they was from. But that's not what it was all about, because everybody is somebody, somewhere. And I just have to say, man, maybe that could be, I don't know. I don't know what the justification was for not putting us in the Hall of Fame, but we need to be there. And like yesterday, because I was just looking at YouTube, they got like 10, 11 different original songs, not carbon copies of anybody, originals. And a lot of people, if you go back and listen to them, you're going to hear a lot of what you hear coming through the mics. Sometimes now you're going to hear it. It's just not going, you can't hide that fact. So yeah, man. I mean, if that answers the question a little bit, that's helpful to you. Give me some tough ones, man.
Let's just talk about your very first time coming, meeting Ovation and coming over there.
Woo, man. I would always hear about it because I would go over to Alexandria. I had a girlfriend over that way, and she would talk about it. All the ladies would talk about it. All the guys would be talking about it. They'd be having the cassette deck joints on the basketball court. They'd be playing it. Everybody had the latest one. They had a cult following for Ovation in Alexandria.
And that's the way it goes. Do your thing again. Now tell me now that where y'all from? That where y'all from, huh? Where y'all from? Town crew, the Valley crew, that Uptown crew, that VA crew. Now one more time. Now, hey, when I say TC, now you say tights up. TC, tights. TC. When I say TC, you say Titans. TC. TC. Mr. Wiggles, y'all. Hey, P-Funk, I want to get the Wiggles one more time. Here we go, Mr. Wiggles. One more time, Mr. Wiggle, Mr. Wiggle, Mr. Wiggle, Mr. Wiggle. Wiggle. Mr. Wiggle. Mr. Wiggle on down. Mr. Wiggle. Wiggle. Talk about the Wiggle. Mr. Wiggle on down. Here we go. I said that one more time, Mr. Wiggle. Mr. Wiggle. Wiggle. Mr. Wiggle on down. Okay, one more time, last Mr. Wiggle. The Wiggle. Talk about the Wiggle. Mr. Wiggle on down. Hey, Boone. Hey, Ron Boone. I want them to hear.
And when I first heard it, I heard the Pink Panther. I was like, oh, not bad. And I heard different other songs, Mr. Wiggles, The Basketball, Float Your Boat. I was like, that's nice. Because when I would go home, I would hear Essence, EU, and Trouble, and Chuck. So I was like, man, they got this following out here. So on the basketball court, I was talking to somebody, and they got me to where I could get in touch with Elwood. And when I met Elwood, they were still living in Cameron Valley, and I went over his house and I talked to him, and he introduced me to the manager, Pinky, and then there was Smitty, and there were a few other guys, man. I can't remember their name. Might have been Yule, I'm not sure. But that's how I got into Ovation, man. That's how I got in there. By word of mouth. It spread. I wanted a piece of that. I wanted to be part of that. Yeah. And the guys, they adopted me, man, because Alexandria guys wasn't keen on DC guys coming over there on their turf, man. Truth be told, man, they just weren't. Because a lot of guys think, like I said, because of where you from, you wasn't about it. But they were about it in LA. They were about it all the time. They were about it. I seen some humdingers. Yep. And that's back when they used the hands. So, I mean, for me, I spread myself all over the area. Sort of like yourself. Sort of like yourself. When I would see you at different shows, you would tell me who you had went to see and everything like that. I wasn't one to stay in one area. I was all over the place. And mainly, I didn't hang in a pack or a group. I basically hung by myself. And I found it better that way. Couldn't go wrong that way. You got anything else for me, Boo?
You say you used to see the Alexandria crew, so you might see myself with some other guys, you know, mixed in, because a lot of the people with honorary accepted in too was from DC and Alexandria. See, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of guys from Stanton Road had moved over there back in the days, you know, like my buddy Brian Clemens, Bay Boy, and all them.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was a lot of, you know, mixed people from all, you know, the DMV that came in and was adopted like yourself.
Right. I don't want to cut you off, but I want to say this. This is of great importance. The reason why I bring these things up about the different areas and how they were going back during the time is I'm thinking maybe that's why Ovation didn't get accepted or didn't get in the Hall of Fame. And I would hope that that's not the reason. The sole reason for any band being in that Hall of Fame is because they helped make a mark on this genre. And Ovation did. They did. So, you know, I'm not trying to pit jurisdictions against one another, and I know you're not. The thing is that they're worthy to be in that Hall of Fame, and they're not.
I think Ovation, because of their body of work, should definitely be in, and Shady Groove should be in just because of that song, that record.
Well, as well,
that record is a part of history when it comes to the genre Go-Go. That record right there.
Right.
I mean, because I remember when that record hit, man, that record was like a wildfire. Shady
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people who I talk to, they
Yeah.
talk about their record as part of, when they look back at their life, they say, at this age, that record came out.
Right. Right.
That was that record. On the radio, it was like the hottest thing on the radio for that period, for a short period, but it was hot.
I don't care what anybody said. I commend you for that, because you could have easily just as well skipped over Ovation too, bro. But you didn't. And I appreciate that, man. I do. And I'm quite sure everybody that's in Ovation appreciate that. You could have just kept the flag going for Shady and just said, well, because it's easy to do. I see a lot of people do that. They forget where they got their help from.
Let me say this. Like I always say, I wasn't on the record because back then I was in the streets and I missed some opportunities.
Yeah.
But Tony, Smooth Man was the voice of that record. That was his voice, the lead talk.
Yeah.
And he did an excellent job. The band did an excellent job. Everybody was on that record deserved kudos.
Yeah.
Everybody collectively on that record deserved kudos as musicians.
Yeah.
Some were good people.
Yeah.
Definitely as musicians.
Yeah.
So I salute the guys who picked up the baton.
Right.
And they made a great record. This
right.
should be honored too.
Yeah, absolutely. And not taking anything away from that. My thing is I'm quite sure there are other bands that were not what we say A-list, top tier, like your Troubles, your EUs, your Rare Essence that are in the Hall of Fame or the museum. We got to get Ovation in there. Who's ever in charge in Shady Groove.
You mentioned my buddy, man, and that's one. And I always said him and James Funk is the reason I wanted to do lead talk.
Yeah, Pluky
McDonald.
Yeah, man.
Hey, let me tell you something, man. Pluky was smooth. Pluky was smooth with it.
Yeah. I couldn't believe the name, man. When I first heard the name, I was like, Pluky? But then I heard him rapping on the tape, and I ain't know who it was, man. I was like, good God Almighty, Slim going. And then the ladies love this dude, man. They love this dude, man. So he had a following. So I don't know, man. I tell you, man, I sit back and I just laugh. And I'm quite sure there'll be people watching this that's probably saying, well, who are you? I ain't nobody, man. I'm just somebody that was in that go-go era in that time. And I've always been one to stay behind the scenes and do my work. I didn't need to be seen at all. But people do know me.
Don't know now. They'll see you again. They'll see you again. Because, here at the Go-Go Roundtable, especially on the Boo Jones show,
man,
we do the underdog, man.
Man. I'm okay with that role, bro.
I'm an underdog.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Man, listen, man. My last name might be Jones, but I can definitely identify with Mike.
Yeah. I hate
So, the Mike Jones, the song, I can definitely identify with him, because, man, it seemed like, like the old song. It seemed like I had to do wrong before they noticed.
Come on, man. Come on. The thing for me is I had a guy in my band, and he said that, I heard him talking about you at the bar, and they said you were the same since high school. Boo, my face hasn't changed. My attitude hasn't changed. Only thing I did was grow older. I've always been the underdog lover. My grandbaby here. Tree, you got to go upstairs, baby. Yeah. But I've always been one for the underdog. And that's why I say, man, we all had to start from somewhere. Come on, man. Don't do that to us, man. Don't do that to us, man. We can't. And
look, more or less, don't do it to the coach. Don't do it to the genre.
Point blank.
Not just for the individuals, you don't have to put me in because I'm Boo Jones and my ego.
Right.
I don't have that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because even since a kid, I always been popular. See, that's what people don't realize. I played sports. I played sports at Charles Houston.
Go ahead, man. I know where that is.
People from Alexandria understand the significance when I just say that. Just to play for Charles Houston back in those days, if you made the team, it was special.
Wow.
It was a championship. It was championship Leighton. You know that.
Right. That might,
So,
Boo,
the point I'm making is we doing this as a labor of love, as Kevin Ruffin II dad said. He hit it right on the nose. This is a labor of love, man. So we get people like yourself to come in because you are significant. Because listen, every boat that's in the bag on Christmas or whatever holiday you get toys and stuff.
Right.
If you don't put it all together, the little boat means something. Because if you leave it out, sooner or later it's gonna fall apart.
Come on now. I appreciate that. But for me, like I was saying, man, it doesn't matter to me whether you include me or not, but just make sure we get Ovation and Shady Groove in the museum, because there are gonna be people coming to the museum from Virginia, and they need to know that these two bands played a big factor in go-go in Virginia. And
in go-go, period. Like we go back. Now, I'm going to get ready to give y'all something. You remember DC Cab?
Yes.
All right? You remember the scene where they was on the strip and a big old strong dude and it was in front of like a corner store?
Mm-hmm.
It's in Delray, Alexandria, Virginia.
Wow.
The big strong dude used to play for the undefeated TC Williams team in 1977, Frank Holloway.
Wow.
He was the big guy, all buffed up in front of the store. And anybody can go back and look at DC Cab and look at that scene and see that big old strong dude with the T-top on. Alexandria, Virginia's finest.
Did they bother to even put in, because Shady Groove was out during that time, correct?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't want to say nothing. I ain't sure.
Yeah, I get it. That's how we go.
I know I was there when they was filming the joint because everybody was trying to get in. It was right there, I think, on Hume Street in Delray, Alexandria, Virginia.
Wow. Yeah,
this historical landmark I got behind me. You see what I got behind me?
I see it. I definitely see it.
It's the good old blue and white.
Yeah. How about that? The best breakfast sandwiches in the world, man. They still kicking too.
Hold on. You ain't saying the DMV.
Yeah. I said the world. Well, I said. I said what I said.
Not in Virginia.
Yeah, the world, bro.
Not in DC area.
Hey, man, you got to eat there to know it. You got to eat there to know it.
And it's things like that that's been staples.
Yep.
This place been here before my mom and them was living.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. If you haven't been there, get out, live a little bit, and get there in the morning, man. They make some dynamite breakfast sandwiches, man. I go back as far as Ollie's Trolley too, boo. Yeah, because
that's Arlington, man.
Yeah, I told you I got around, man.
Yeah, that's Arlington. Yeah, that was on Columbia Pike.
Right, I got around, man. Yeah, man.
So, yeah. We get the surrounding areas love because we all was part of each other.
Right. And that's
when talk about Gun Springs.
Come on,
played down there a lot.
Yep.
Gun Springs was attached to Alexandria. Actually, they used the address, but it's Fairfax.
Yes, a lot of big bands played.
Historical. That venue should be in the Hall of Fame.
It should. Petworth, Essence, every big band you could think of played in Gum Springs, bro. Every big band you could think of. Yes, indeed. Rec Center. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
In the gym.
Yep. In the gym.
I've seen shows in Gum Springs where they had one band on one end of the gym, one band on the other end of the gym.
We played in one such show. It was us, and then Petworth was on the other side of the gym. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. Mm-hmm. I sent you a picture.
I had the honor with the band Ace Deuce.
Uh,
When we was young, I had the honor of playing in Gun Springs. And that was one of my big highlights.
Deuce
It
too.
was before it was such thing as a day show, we played in there. And I'd be remiss not to mention the band who played with us. That was Total Control.
See. Man, it's a lot of history there, man. And when we were going there, when we would play there, the road, I forgot what road. Is that Route 1?
No, yeah, it's off of Route 1, but to go back to the gym, you turn off Route 1, and then you take a right onto Forson Road.
Man, half of the stores that was up there now weren't there, bro. It was dark going down there. Yep. Yeah, man. Yeah. And like I said, man, you know, we played in a lot of big venues with a lot of big bands. So there's just no way you don't get in there, man.
Is the politics part of the reason that you think that because of, you know, they want to call it the DC metropolitan area, and now it's popular to call it the DMV? And a lot of DC guys don't like that. They want to keep it to DC metropolitan area because that keeps it just DC, and y'all just around us. If you think that's one of the reasons why Ovation and Shady Groove is not in the Hall of Fame?
I will say this, man, and this is in all earnesty. I feel that way because how can they not be in there? But if that is the very reason, I don't know. That would be shameful because we all have friends that live in different areas. So I would hope that isn't it, but I do think there is some politics, and I get a little mad about it. I do. I'm just gonna be honest with you, because like I said, I traveled all over. I was in every jurisdiction: Northeast, Southeast, Southwest, Virginia, Arlington, Fairfax. I went all over because I wasn't gonna let somebody tell me just because I was born in Northwest, raised in Southeast, and moved to Maryland, what my identity was. My identity was Gennaro Thompson first. So I think on a totally different realm. And if that is the reason why, shame on you. Shame on you. Because we all bleed red.
And I agree with you, Gennaro, because I never thought about it until, like, you know, some people started talking about, man, you was accepted to come over Eastgate. I never looked at it like that, you know, because my family lived over there, and I'm just going over my family house, and just the neighborhood, you know, that they happen to live in.
Boo.
I didn't look at it like, you know, and like I said, I had a lot of DC friends as well as people I knew growing up in Alexandria. You know, to this day, you know, we still cool, the ones that still are here with us.
Yeah.
I was just the other night with my buddy not too long ago, my buddy Tubu out of Eastgate. And we still tight to this day, you know. You know, we don't have to see each other, be together. And there's a lot of people that grew up with us, like you and I have a mutual friend. One of my childhood friends who just transitioned.
Yes.
You know,
yes. Lee.
Good old young boy Lee Johnson.
Yeah. Yes.
Tell me a little bit about, you know, Lee was connected to Ovation too, right?
Yes. Lee was the announcer of the band. He wrote it. Avid fan of Ovation, motivator of the band. He also had folks that lived in the Washington area, and just to kill that notion about the us against them theory. I spent my summers in Bury Farms, man. So, and that was the city within the city, what I used to call the city within the city. If you didn't know somebody, you couldn't really get in there, or things will happen to you, you know. But moving on to Lee had the same ideas and thoughts just like we had. It don't matter where you from. You know, it matters how you conduct yourself. And, you know, that was a really great dude, man. He was a great dude. He'd do anything for anybody. And he navigated a lot of places where I went. He was with me, and we would go through different areas, and he would tell me about them. So he would announce the band, and I can tell you, the way he announced the band, if you weren't fired up, man, I don't know what to say, man. That dude will have you ready to go, man. He'll have you ready to go. And what did he always say? Virginia's home.
He was synonymous as Tricky Rick was with Rassens.
Yes.
He was synonymous with Ovation in just the same fashion.
Yes, 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 he was. God rest his soul, man. Shout out to you, Lee.
Yeah, that's my childhood football men playing guys. Yeah. me and Jerome Kendi was talking about the football men one day, and I brought up Lee. I said, me and Lee took that thing serious.
Yeah. Yeah. And just for those who may, again, like I said, well, who is this guy? Well, a lot of folks in this genre know me, and they know how I am. I'm a humble dude, and I'm not coming on here to one up nobody. But what I do want to do is, instead of it being the district versus Maryland, and Maryland versus district, and Virginia being the outcast, man, all of us need to come together as one, man. And love
and
on.
I want to clarify to even piggyback on what you're saying, to like drive it home.
Yeah.
I love I'd call it what anybody want to call it. I love the DC metropolitan area, the DMV, this area. I love it.
Right.
You know,
I hear you, Godfather. Keep it warm now. Say what? Come on.